Hi everyone, welcome to Math Dive in 5. Today we're talking about the coordinate plane, but I would like to start with doing a little bit of math. So we're going to do a number routine or math routine called Eliminate It. You're going to go ahead and pause the video and decide which of the 4 images that you see here do not belong and why. And then when you're ready, you can unpause and continue. So you may realize that no matter which one of these you pick, you could be right depending on how you prove and justify your answer. And hopefully you also realize that each one of them is some sort of a number line. And our students have been working with number lines since kindergarten, but often they are unable to see number lines that exist in other areas, like on a clock or here on a football field even. So we're going to take a look today at how that connects to the coordinate plane. So before we dive in, just a quick reminder here of where our students have been and where we're going. They've been working with number lines in a variety of ways all the way up through this year. And next year they're going to be taking what they have learned about the coordinate grid and relating it to rational numbers. So next year in 6th grade they'll be working with all 4 quadrants, but this year you'll be sticking with whole numbers in that first quadrant. All right, so we always want to start from a place of understanding with students, and we know that they have used a horizontal number line quite often, and they may or may not have used a vertical number line. So you may want to give them some experience with the vertical number line just to see that they understand it doesn't matter which way the number line is oriented and that they can use it in either direction. It's important because when you take a vertical and a horizontal number line and you put them together, you end up with a coordinate plane. And so students number lines on the coordinate plane and make that connection as they understand the x-axis as the horizontal number line and the y-axis as the vertical number line. And it's also important for them to understand the origin is where the 2 lines come together and that origin is 0. And so these are all terminology and ideas that you want students talking about while they're learning about the coordinate plane. So here are some overarching learning goals for you to consider. You really want to make sure that students are making connections between things that they already understand, like 2-column tables and numerical patterns and number lines, to these new ideas of ordered pairs and plotting points on a coordinate grid. So we want them to make connections between the real-world scenarios and the math that they already know to these new ideas and understanding. Here's an example of a task that encompasses all of those learning goals. If you want to take a moment to pause the video and try this task and then come right back. Hopefully, as you looked at this first part of the task, you were able to create a table in some organized way to find a pattern, and now consider how you might, or how your students might, take this information and connect it to the coordinate grid, and how they would see that the batches represent the x-axis and the bake time represents the y-axis, and always bringing it back to those connections to the scenario. And you may go ahead and pause the video real quick again to see if you can answer this question about how long it will take to make the 6 batches. And so when you have students solving problems similar to this, make sure that they're using the new terminology that they're learning about the x and y axis, as well as the origin and the coordinate grid, and get them really thinking about how all of these things connect together. And here's just one more task for you to consider. This is a good example of a summative task that you would want students to be successful with by the end of 5th grade. That is going to do it for us today. So thank you so much.